Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. Welcome to Third International Conference on Islam, Media and Communication. Okay, my turn today is to present on a paper entitled Perception of Communication Students on Online Learning During COVID-19 Pandemic. Okay, this is just actually a very mini research done by a few of us, and we welcome suggestions, comments, and if you do have questions to ask, then you are most welcome after the presentation, inshallah. All right, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Okay, the development of technology makes everything easy and only at the end of our fingertips without wasting much of our time. And one of the reasons the internet is very important is due to the vast information that the internet can provide. And information technology has expanded the realm of education and has added a new dimension of quality to the ever-changing definition of education quality. So online learning has demonstrated several benefits in comparison to traditional learning, particularly in allowing for learning anytime and anywhere. So I don't really have to actually explain what is online learning, okay, how online learning is conducted, because I believe that every one of us well understood what is online learning and how online learning is conducted. However, despite all the benefits of online learning, there are actually many critical issues associated with online learning, and the shift to online mode has risen many queries on the quality of education itself. When the COVID-19 pandemic outbreaks shocked the world last year, the education was also affected, and students had to go through online learning, and this happened in the whole world, including Malaysia. And students of University of Science Islam Malaysia, USIM, were at no exception at that time, even until now, actually, for online learning, and beginning March 2020, it was last year. Despite the previous learning setting of the university that required some of the students, okay, like in USIM, we have communication students, okay, where they need to attend classes that had to be conducted in studios for broadcasting students and in journalism lab for journalism students. But the shift to online mode has somehow affected them at some points. Therefore, this research has investigated looking at the perception and acceptance of USIM's communication students pertaining to online learning. Okay, we have placed two objectives of this study. The first one, to analyze the perceptions of communication students on the online learning, and second, to study the acceptance of communication students towards online learning. Okay, in terms of methodology, quantitative survey was conducted on 133 respondents selected from second, third, and fourth year students of communication. And the questionnaire was built with 42 questions based on the previous research, as stated in our literature review, to measure two variables, that is the perception of students on online learning and the acceptance of students towards online learning. And in the questionnaires, there were three sections in terms of demographic, perception, as well as acceptance of online learning. Okay, for the findings, in terms of the demographic profile, out of 133 respondents, we had 30 male students and 103 male students. And actually, this is the proportionate distribution of gender, as there were actually more female students than male students in the real settings. In terms of age, the respondents are between 20 and 26 years old. The highest percentage of the respondents is those who are 22 years old, about 53 respondents, followed by 23, 21, as well as 24 years old. Okay, in terms of year of study, second year we had about 51 students, okay, consist of around 38%, third year 41 students, and also fourth year 31 students. Okay, we also asked them regarding first time doing online class, because this research was conducted last year when they were having the online class for the first time. So out of 133 respondents that we had, okay, for this research, 95 of them, about 71.4%, said that this was the first time they had like full online class, okay? And only 38 students, or 28%, said that this was not their first time doing online class. Okay, in terms of the examination result, because we wanted to know whether the online class has affected their CGPA, their result or not. So what we got is out of 133 students that we had for this research, the highest pointer, that is between 3.51 and 4 for the CGPA, it has shown the escalation from 13.5% during conventional or face-to-face learning to 35.3% during online learning, with the increase of 11.8%. The percentage of lower pointer, that is the lowest one, between 0 and 1 for the CGPA, it also shows a little increase with 0% during face-to-face to 0.8% during online class. Meaning, even though the increase, we had the increase in terms of students who excel while having the online class, but we also had the increase in terms of students who fail, okay, for during having the, while they were having the online class. Okay, then we conducted a reliability test to check a skills internal consistency. So for the reliability test, the perception of communication students on online learning, and the acceptance of communication students on online learning, okay, as in section B and section C. Okay, so in section C, each fraction which is perceived useful and perceived ease of use and behavioral intention also have been calculated. So the overall in section B, the Cronbach alpha coefficient is 0.722, while in section C, the Cronbach's alpha of perceived useful is 0.898, perceived ease of use is 0.796, and behavioral intentions is 0.886. So according to this data, all the Cronbach alpha's values for all variables in section B and C are more than 0.6, indicating that all the research questions in this study are reliable. Okay. Okay, now the mean score for perception and acceptance of the communication students towards the online learning. For the section B, in terms of the perception, we had the 5-point Likert scale ranging from 1, that is strongly disagree, to 5, strongly agree. So based on this table, the mean score for section B and section C, that consists of perceived usefulness, perceived ease of use, and behavioral intentions. So the mean score, based on the mean score shown in the on this table, the respondents' agreement and disagreement levels for each variable were determined, and therefore the mean score for the perception of the communication students on online learning, as in section B, is 3.959. okay, which is very high. And this indicates that most of the respondents perceive and were aware of online learning among communication students. And this also reveals that during the movement control order, the first movement control order that was implemented last year, USIM communication students had high perceptions on the online learning. Since all the respondents, okay, never attended any online class before the COVID-19 outbreaks, their perception on the online learning was quite good, and some put high perception on the online learning. Okay, for the section C, the mean scores were taken from the perceived usefulness, perceived ease of use, and behavioral intention. And the mean score for the perceived usefulness is 3.788. Meanwhile, the mean score for the perceived ease of use is 3.475. And for behavioral intentions, the mean score is 3.120. So the perceived use has the highest mean score, indicating that most of the respondents quite agree that online learning could enhance their performance in their studies. And as a result, accessibility of the information, their productivity in having online class, and many more. So the perceived ease of use, however, has medium level of mean scores, as the respondents might have some beliefs that the new system, that is the online learning, and surrounding of learning was easy to use and adapt, and some might have just a little faith on this new system. While the behavioral intention has low level of mean score, as the respondents might adapt to the new system, but their attitude to the system may be still half-half, 50-50, to recommend whether online learning should remain as permanent learning system or not. Okay. So in conclusion, this research has revealed that communication students in USIM have very high perception on the online learning after the pandemic COVID-19. And this is because all of them never attended any online class before the COVID-19 outbreaks. Thus, their perception on the online learning is quite good, and some put high perception on the online learning. Furthermore, sorry for the typo error, this study also indicates that communication students were happy with the cooperation and support shown by their family and friends during the online learning. They also can adapt new system of online learning, that is as compared to face-to-face learning. And they have accepted that it was part of the process of learning, okay, using different platforms. And the students just need some time and encouragement from people around them, their lecturers, friends, especially their families, to accept and adapt this new kind of learning, as we don't know when this pandemic, COVID-19 pandemic will end. In terms of acceptance, online learning is generally perceived well by students, as it helps in improving their academic performance in terms of semester cumulative pointer. They have shown good progress after the implementation of online learning, with the perceived use is higher, as online learning leads them to do their assignments better due to huge opportunity of information seeking via online. Okay, so I think that's it for my presentation. If you have any questions, or maybe you have any comments, okay, in order for us, the group of researchers, to improve our research, then you are most welcome. Thank you. Assalamualaikum.